Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got this package in the mail that has some custom printed Ninjago parts in it. This is coming from the same team I've reviewed parts from quite a few times recently. In fact, I just had a video on them last week. But I guess they've been producing a lot, because yeah, they sent me another package with more parts, and I'm very excited to get this open. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to the team behind these over on Instagram. There's Ninja Customz, Super Brick Figs, and of course the designer Flo Society. If you guys aren't following them yet, I highly recommend you do. They have a ton of cool stuff. And unlike the last customs I reviewed from them, which were creator exclusive, I believe they are actually selling these. So if you want to get any of these for yourself, go check out their Instagram. This isn't a sponsorship or anything, they just sent these to me for review. But as just a fan of Ninjago, I love that they're creating these things, Ninjago minifigures that don't actually exist, that LEGO's probably never gonna make. So if you want to get some of these for your collection, you can go check them out there. Anyway, I've talked enough, let's finally get this open and take a look at what's inside. I have a vague idea of what's in here, but I tried not to look too closely because I wanted to be a little bit surprised. So let's see what this has in store. Alright, let me pull the figs and pieces out, and wow, I didn't think I was getting him. That's really cool. Okay, right off the bat, I see one that's very exciting. So there's one full minifigure in here, 2 custom printed heads, 1 custom printed torso, and 1 custom printed legs. We'll take a look at all of them in just a moment, but first here we have Geo, which is definitely the most exciting one for me, because I don't know if we're ever going to get this guy physically, but I really want like an official version of him. And the camera's not really focusing, but yeah, this will definitely do in the meantime. Excited to take a closer look at this guy. Then we have a Tournament of Sources Lord Ras torso with pink stripes instead of red, because this is actually how he looked for most of the season, even though he's red in sets. So it's cool to actually have a more accurate version here, even though I think the red definitely looks cooler, this is how he actually appears in the show. And then this is a leg piece for Tournament Cinder, because it comes with that ghost tail piece in the sets, so once again it's for more show accuracy, and it makes him feel more like a character too, at least I assume. Excited to put this on the figure, because yeah, I feel like he definitely needs it. And then there's 2 custom heads for Shatterspin Jay and Possessed Jordana. So now let me put these pieces on the minifigures they're supposed to go on, and we can take a closer look at them. So first up, we're going to take a look at the custom printed Lord Ras torso. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but of course, as with all of these, the only parts custom about this minifigure are the printing. They use all official LEGO pieces, there's no knockoffs or anything in here. That printing is the only thing here that's custom. But yeah, here you can see a comparison between the custom printed version and the official version that came in sets. Of course, all the other parts besides the torso are from my own collection. The leg piece is the same between the 2 of them, same as the armor piece, and then the heads from either Season 1 Ras or Season 2 Part 1 Ras, as opposed to the Season 2 Part 2 version that has the red stripes. I have to say, it is really cool to have these 2 next to each other, and I really wish we got these variants officially. Because yeah, this pink version is what we saw in the show, and I think it looks great. And the Ninja Customz team did a really good job to match these pretty one-to-one. There's even arm printing too, and you can see he's got like that blue armor on the side, and the back printing's there as well, which we'll take the armor off in a moment. Now there are some slight discrepancies between these. I think the biggest thing is metallic printing. It doesn't seem like the custom printers do metallic printing. I've never seen it before, which if this was an official minifigure, I'd be a little bit disappointed, because metallic printing is definitely nice to see and definitely looks a lot better. But the thing is, it isn't official. This is meant to be custom, and I think they do a good enough job of making things look metallic-ish without actually making it metallic. There's also a little bit of a color discrepancy in the belt. You can see over here the belt actually matches the color of the part that hangs down to the legs. Well, in the custom version, that's a little bit different, because of course those legs are official, the torso is custom. So if you guys are interested in getting this, that's something to be aware of, but I don't think that's the end of the world. All in all, I think this looks really cool, and it's an awesome variant to have, and definitely one I'm going to be displaying in my collection. There's the back torso prints, which again are pretty much exactly the same in design, they only differ in color. The lack of metallic printing does definitely stand out on the custom one, because you can see it doesn't reflect in the light like this one. That metal armor seems a lot more prominent here than it does on this guy. But again, at least personally, I really don't mind that too much. And there's the front torso prints compared with the armor removed. Yeah, I think this is a really awesome custom and a really smart thing to make too. Definitely one I'm gonna have out on display. I'm overall very happy with it. Next up, we have the custom Cinder leg piece, and then I've just got a normal Jordana standing right next to him, just so you can see how those 2 look together. And this might be one of my favorite ones I got today, because this just looks perfect. It makes me really wish this was official. I know I say that a lot in these videos, but man, this one especially. Now having this custom version in hand, it really feels like we were missing something. As a reminder, this is what the official Season 2 Part 2 Cinder minifigure looks like. He's got this ghost tail piece, which I think is a cool idea, right? It represents his ghost powers. I do like it in theory, but I like it as an option, because when this is our only version of this guy, he really doesn't seem like the character he is in the show. He looks more like he's meant to be a ghost or something. But with the custom legs, this is Cinder. This is the Cinder I know. This is what he should be. Honestly, super disappointing we didn't get him in sets. It is still printed on gunmetal gray, which is very nice to see, because that's a slightly rarer color for the leg part. But no, they went all out, they made sure it was perfect. And I'm pretty sure this is just based off Cinder's design in the show, but I do love like this wispy smoke effect on the legs. It sort of carries it over from the torso and it looks really nice. But then he incorporates some of the purple back in too, and it makes him and Jordana match really nicely. There he is with the legs and the alternate face too. Obviously this is one of the simpler customs in this video, but as I said, one of my favorites. This turned out really cool. Now we have the custom printed Jay face for while he's powered up with Shatterspin. Of course, the big difference here is those red eyes, and again, these look really cool. I think a really smart decision here was to put a black outline around the red eyes, because if you compare that to the show, he actually doesn't have that. But on the minifigure, it just pops so much more and looks absolutely perfect. And then this is actually a double-sided face, so we look at the other side, he's got like this angry shouting expression, which is very reminiscent of the show. And there's how that looks with the hairpiece on. Between the two, I think I prefer this expression, but one very little thing with it is I wish the eyebrows were down a little bit lower. And the only reason I say that is because the hairpiece sort of covers them up, so it looks like he has no eyebrows at all. They do peek out like a very little bit, and if you want to rotate this to the side, it looks fantastic. But yeah, I just wish they could be seen a little bit better when the hairpiece was on. Now that's some of the hairpiece. If we try the hood instead, you can see this side of the face. Again, the eyebrows are pretty hidden. You can see them a little bit better here than you can with the hairpiece, but again, I wish they were lowered a little bit more so you could see them a lot better. That being said, that's kind of the purpose this side of the face serves, because this looks amazing with a hood on. I think this is probably my favorite way to display this minifigure. Again, this is another really cool thing that would be awesome to get officially, but I doubt we're ever going to. But for a custom, they captured that LEGO style really well. So this makes for a very cool way to display this minifigure. And then here's the other custom face print, Jordana, specifically Possessed Jordana from the end of Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 1. That's of course why I have her in this outfit specifically, though I guess she should technically be sitting down. There we go, that's how that face is really supposed to look on this minifigure. This is such a ridiculous expression. I remember the first time I saw it in the show just being like, what in the world is happening here? So obviously it looks very silly, very weird, but again, it's a perfect translation of that from the show. And as I said before, these are the kind of things I love when custom makers do, because this is the kind of thing we're never gonna get officially in LEGO. This appeared in exactly one scene, was iconic for that scene, but we've now passed that season. They're never gonna go back and do this. So since LEGO's not gonna do it, it's awesome to have a custom that does it instead. And then just like Jay, this is a double-sided face, though the double-sided face is very different. It's also Possessed Jordana, but it's Possessed Jordana during Season 2 Part 2. So she's got like a very stern and serious expression on her face with the red eyes and the angry eyebrows. And again, this is basically everything I could want from this minifigure. We only have two heads this time around, this one and Evil Jay, but again, I say this in all these videos from this team. Flo, who's the designer of all these, does such a great job of capturing the LEGO face style, which is very impressive. Because I think that's usually the hardest thing for custom makers to capture. A lot of custom figures are really good except for the face prints. The face prints usually feel a little bit off, but like this one especially, if I didn't know better, I would think this was an official face. And again, this is another really cool one to get, because this was a major part of how Jordana was in this season, and we never got it physically. Incredibly happy with both sides of this face. I guess just now I have to pick which side I want to display. Do I want to do Season 2 Part 2 or Season 2 Part 1, because that would change what outfit I put her in. And then finally, I saved the most exciting custom printed figure for last. We have Geo, the Master of Fusion. As soon as Season 1 came out, I knew I really wanted this figure, and I think he's probably one of the most requested characters from Dragons Rising. But his design in the show felt like it was going to be tough to translate into minifigure form, and I think that's probably why we haven't gotten an official version yet. But I have to say, this is a really smart way to do it. You can see they printed the ears on the side of the head, which doesn't look perfect, don't get me wrong. Like, it does feel a little bit off, doesn't exactly feel like what LEGO would do. But that's also just kind of Geo's design. His design in the show doesn't feel like something LEGO would do. He already has that uncanny effect. So I think this was a good enough way to keep him feeling sort of like the LEGO style while also putting those ears on there. And then of course he's got this ponytail piece at the top, which in the show is multicolored. But again, another thing I really like about this team is they try to keep things like as close to LEGO as possible. Like for example, when they made Gondolaria, they didn't try to like make her rainbow hair, they just used an existing piece. And it did kind of feel like a LEGO-fication of the character from the show. I think back to like the Keepers from the Island, the minifigures versus the show versions of those characters were very different. So this and Gondolaria feel like a similar thing to me. This is like toning it down for the minifigure, but obviously in the show he's a lot more detailed. That being said, the rest of this minifigure is very detailed for a custom. I especially love the arm printing with like his tattoos and his little bracelets. Those look so good. His torso looks great too. I love all the different colors he used. That's another thing you don't see too often on official LEGO minifigures. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but there's like a limited number of colors on every single minifigure torso. And normally it's like 3 or 4. Every now and then you'll get more than that, but they usually don't layer it that much. But yeah, you can see there's lots of different colors in this guy, especially on this like necklace at the top. And then these like circles in his clothing, I will say the printing does make a little fuzzy because it's such like small intricate details in the show, it's kind of hard to capture on physical minifigure form. I'm zooming in so maybe you guys can see a little bit better. So the lines aren't as small and as detailed as they are in the show, but also I literally don't know if you could make them that small. Thinking back to like the official SOG suits, the ninja all have very tiny versions of their symbols on those suits, but they do a very similar thing where because they're so small, they become a little splotchy like this. So again, I think this is good enough. Like, you could see all the little details here. It's just maybe not exactly one-to-one to the show. And then of course the legs look really good too. Love the little sandals at the bottom, those are really cute. Ideally this would have been dual molded, but this is a custom printer, not like a custom LEGO part producer. I don't think we've ever gotten dual molded lavender and dark red legs, so that literally was not an option. So I think especially considering what they had available, this is pretty darn good. Oh, and I guess I didn't really talk about the face print. I will say everything seems a little bit small. I think the expression's really good. I love the giant eyebrows in Geo, that looks great. But yeah, I think everything just being a little bit bigger would have made it feel a little more LEGO-like. And here's how he looks with that scarf piece removed, which by the way, scarf piece, very smart choice to include that. No back torso print, which I think is perfectly fine. I hope I'm not sounding too critical, because I do genuinely love this minifigure. For a fan-made project especially, this is amazing. Definitely one of my favorite custom printed minifigures I have ever gotten. Geo just has a very complex design in the show, so I see why he's hard to translate into minifigure form. But I have to say, considering the people printing this are like not LEGO themselves, they did a pretty darn good job. This guy just genuinely looks super cool. And there we go, that is all of the custom printed Ninjago minifigures and minifigure pieces I have to show in this video. Again, a huge thank you to the team behind these, Ninja Customz, Flo Society, and Super Brick Figs. All of their Instagrams will be linked in the description below. Please go check them out, like these are amazing. And they have lots of other cool projects just like these. Speaking of, if you want to see my reviews of more custom printed Ninjago minifigures, I have a full playlist. There's actually a lot of videos now, including more from this team as well as some from other teams in the past. And I'll end this video off by saying something I say in a lot of these. I just love that this exists. I think it's so cool when Ninjago fans take it into their own hands to make the things that LEGO isn't. So projects like this I absolutely want to support and see more of going forward. The team behind these usually shows up in the comment sections of these videos, so if you have any feedback or things you'd like to see in the future, feel free to put it down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!